So thank you and welcome to our program and planning session. I'll just move this so you can see me. Program enrollment begins on March 3rd, and this is a good time to understand what programs are and why you need them. We will also go through the program types, when and how to enroll in them, important information to know as you plan and think about programs, including some important program planning tools, frequently asked questions, and of course, any questions that will come up as the session goes on. And that will be your agenda for the session. Before we talk about programs, it's important to know why you need to have them. To qualify for an honors Bachelor of Arts or an honors Bachelor of Science, a student must complete at least 20 credits must complete 20 credits, of which 10 must be offered through the Faculty of Arts and Science. The student is also expected to complete a minimum of 13 credits at the 200, 300, or 400 level, with at least 6 in the 300 or 400 level. Students are also expected to enroll in the right program combination. That could be either a specialist program, 2 majors, or 1 major with 2 minors. This will be a main focus of the session today, and we'll get to go over the differences later on in the presentation. The student is also expected to meet a minimum CGPA of 1.85. The cumulative GPA is the weighted average of all your GPAs. What that means is that it takes into consideration all the marks for all the individual courses completed to that point. And lastly, you're expected to fulfill your breadth requirements. The breadth requirements give you the opportunity to choose courses across a range of subject areas, allowing you to gain knowledge and an understanding of disciplines outside your main fields of study. The breadth requirements can be completed at any time throughout your studies, although it must be completed before you graduate. Students have 2 options to fulfill the breadth requirements. One is you must take at least 1 credit in each of the 4 of the 5 breadth categories, or you could take at least 1 credit in each of the 3 of the 5 categories, plus 0.5 in the other 2 categories. The 5 breadth categories available are the creative and cultural representations, thought, belief, and behavior, society and institution, living things, and the environment, and lastly, the physical and mathematical universes. The breadth requirements allow you to develop new insights, experiences, and potentially new ways of thinking. This is a very good opportunity for you to learn a different language, even culture, enroll in a certificate, pick up another program, meet your graduate school program requirements outside of your program, and many more options. The possibilities are endless. It's all up to you on how you want to approach your breadth requirements that will lead to fulfilling your degree requirements. So, onto the main question of our session is, what is a program? This refers to a group of courses that you take in a specific subject area. You are embarking on a journey to get your degree, and you'll be living with one of the following degree types. That could be either an honors Bachelor of Arts, an honors Bachelor of Science, or a Bachelor of Commerce degree. All degrees awarded by the Faculty of Arts and Science require and are defined by the programs of study a student completes as a degree requirement. These programs identify the subject areas the student has pursued and completed. For instance, if you graduate with 2 majors in arts, then you'll be graduating with an honors Bachelor of Arts. Let's say you enrolled in 2 majors and they're both in sciences, then you'll be graduating with an honors Bachelor of Science. However, let's say you enrolled in 1 major that's in the arts and the other is in the sciences, then you'll get the option of choosing between an honors Bachelor of Arts or an honors Bachelor of Science. The same is applicable when you're taking a major with the 2 minors. Again, we assess to see what you have more of. If let's say you have 1 major in science and a minor in the science, 1 minor in the science, and the other minor will be in arts, then you'll have the option of graduating with an honors Bachelor of Science. For the commerce degree, it's a little bit different because they have different expectations, and for them, they're expected to enroll in specialists. For that, please view the academic calendar. Next, let's look at the program options. With over 390 programs to choose from, you can create an experience at U of T that is unique to you. You can either study a specialist program, a major, or a minor. If you're doing a specialist, you're probably really interested in one particular subject area, and you'll be completing 10 to 16 credits in that area. Specialist programs offer the deepest and most extensive study of the subject matter in question and almost always represent the key area of degree studies. This will be a large breadth of knowledge. Again, this is very specific. However, if you're completing a major program, you'll be taking between 6 to 8 credits. And major programs offer comprehensive study of the subject matter and may be a primary area of degree studies, most often complemented with another major or some minor programs. And lastly, we have minor programs where you're expected to complete 4 credits. With minor programs, they offer fundamental study of the subject matter and complement degree studies where a major or a specialist is also being pursued. A common question that we get is how many programs can you apply to? The answer is you can apply to as many programs as you like. There are some exceptions, and we'll look at that later on in the presentation. However, when it comes to enrolling in programs, you can only enroll in a maximum of 3 programs, of which one has to be a minor. So when it comes to applying, you can apply to as many as you want, but when accepting or enrolling, then you're limited to 3, of which one has to be a minor. Again, remember you're not limited to the programs offered through your admission category. Feel free to look at the other programs. Again, review the academic calendar to see what are other interest areas that you could want to pursue. Here we have a visual representation of what all of that will look like with a inclusive of the electives. Again, you can choose one of the 3 program combinations depending on how diverse you want your degree to be. We see that either, depending on what program combination you choose to take, you'll still be expected to complete electives, and that's where the breadth requirements come in, and that's also a good opportunity for you to take courses in other areas that are not related to your program. Next, let's talk about choosing your programs. A few things to keep in mind as you think about the programs you're interested in is, just like what do you want to study and how in depth do you want to go? Again, if you're really passionate about a particular subject area, then you'd go for the specialist route. But if you're not sure and want a mix of both, then the majors route with the minor will be recommended. Also, what programs are your backup? Okay, what are the types of programs you're applying to? If limited and competitive programs, then we do advise students to have backups. Again, we'll go into details about this later on in the presentation. Some other questions to think about are, do your programs fit in with your long-term academic and career goals? This is a good time to do some self-assessment to identify what your values, interests, and abilities are. Later on, we'll get to go over the 2 important tools that will help you during program enrollment. That'll be the Faculty of Arts and Science calendar and the program toolkit. Now that we've spoken about the program combinations and the program options, this is the time for you to start, thinking, what program will you take and how diverse do you want your degree to be at the end of the 4 years? Something to note is that you can change your programs if they no longer align with your goals or it's not what you expected it to be. We advise students to be flexible and open to looking into different subject areas, should that be the case. Next, we'll look at the program types. There are 2 types of programs We have two types of programs at the Faculty of Arts and Science. We have the open programs and we have limited programs. Each of these program type has a different application process, and we'll look at that in the next session, in the next slides. So the first program type we have is open programs. For these, a student is required to have completed 4 credits. If you've not if you have not yet completed your 4 credits, you can still apply. However, it is expected that you will have completed the 4 credits by the time you're accepted into the program. For the open programs, there's no application required. However, despite not having an application, they do have first year courses that are required for students to complete them, as they tend to be the prerequisites for the upper year courses. Enrollment period for open programs it tends to be between March and September, as early as March 3rd to September 15th. And how do you apply for that? You'll go to the Arts and Science calendar, research the programs. Once you have identified the program you're interested in, get the code, log into your Acorn. Under the academic section, you'll go to Enroll and Manage, add the program code, and once you confirm that, you'll see that it'll show as active, meaning you're and oops, apologies, you're enrolled in the program. Okay. Let's look at an example. So this is a picture from the Arts and Science calendar. We have applied mathematics specialist listed here. We see that it's listed as an open program, meaning there are no specific requirements for you to enroll into the program apart from completing 4 credits. However, we see that they also mention some of the courses that they encourage the students to take in the first year of study, like the MET 157, the MET 240, MET 247, CSC 108, and CSC 148. So while open programs do not have specific courses for you to take in order to get entry, they have these first year courses that are important. So please check the enrollment requirements or the completion requirements section to identify what are the essential courses you need to take in your first year, especially if you're applying for an open program. Next, we'll look at the limited programs. For the limited programs, apart from completing the 4 credits, they're looking at specific courses and also specific with the minimum grades in that. In some instances, some programs have special requirements where students are expected to submit a supplementary application, an essay, or an audition. Something to note is that obtaining the published minimum grade does not guarantee entry into the program. As with each year, the applicant pool changes, and the average for that specific year will determine the cutoff grade. Okay, so if you see a program has listed, let's say the minimum required to get into the program is 63, be sure to check the website, the program's website, or even the Arts and Science calendar where the program is listed to see the most recent average pool of the applicants who got into the program and what their grades were. Again, if a program has a special requirement like a supplementary application or an essay, the requirements tend to be listed on the Arts and Science calendar. In some instances, the department may send you an email to request for supplemental information, or they might post specific instructions on the website. So once you've applied to a limited program, be sure to consistently, regularly check your U of T email to see if you've been emailed a request for supplemental information. And if that's the case, complete the supplemental information, then submit your request. So we can see with limited programs, very different from the open programs, they are governed with 2 request periods. And some limited programs accept applications in the first request period only, while others accept applications in both the first and the second request periods. It's important for you to note if your program has both first and second, as that will determine when you'll be able to enroll in the program. Okay, so what differentiates the first and second request period is when you get to meet the program prerequisites. If you're meeting all the requirements by the end of the winter session, or if you already met them at the fall, then you'll be expected to request to get into the program during the first request period. This will be between March 3rd and April 25th. After that, students are expected to check the results between April 26th and June 6th, and you should have enrolled in the program by July 4th. For the second request period, this will be applicable to students either who did not meet the published minimum grade and had to retake the course in the summer. Then, if your program has a second request period, this will be the time for you to apply to that. You can apply to that as early as July 5th to August 19th, and you'll be expected to check your results between August 20th to September 3rd and enroll by September 15th. Tip that we advise students to do is if you do not get into your first choice of program in the first request period, apply to a different program in the second request period or enroll in an open program. Something to note is that once you've completed 4 credits, you will not be able to enroll in further courses until you have enrolled in the minimum appropriate combination of programs. That means you must be enrolled in one specialist, 2 majors, or 1 major and 2 minors to enroll in courses for an upcoming session. Therefore, if you're waiting for the results of a limited program request or if you do not meet the enrollment requirements for a limited program, you may need to enroll in an open program to participate in course enrollment. Again, you'll have the opportunity to change your programs later once you receive your results from the limited program or when you meet the enrollment requirements. We also advise students to apply during the first request period because that will give you priority enrollment when it comes to courses that are program specific. We see that you will have enrolled in your program by July 4th, and course enrollment tends to begin mid-July and July. So applying during the first request period will definitely allow you to have more, priority of fast dibs when it comes to the courses you need for your program. Again, even though you haven't finished the course, please uh, apply during the request period. So they'll wait to have all the grades in before they issue a decision. Next, we'll look at how to apply to limited programs. Similar to the open programs, you'll get the code on the Arts and Science calendar and log into your Acorn under Enroll and Manage program section, type in the code, and instead of saying active, the status will change to requested. If you're expected to submit supplemental information, then please be sure to check your email or check the program's website to have all the information you need to have that submitted. And lastly, we got to step 3. This is for limited programs when it comes to checking the results. You again at that point you will be referencing that check results period. I'll go back for us to remember. So that'll be between April 26th and June 6th for the first request period, and for the second request period, that'll be between August 20th and September 3rd. The status you'll see 3 types of statuses during those periods. One is invited. When you see invited, it means that you have been offered admission to this program and you can move on to the next step. The second possibility is refused. This means that you've been denied admission into the program and you may need to enroll in alternate programs to ensure you're in the right appropriate combination for your degree. And lastly, you could see requested. That means check back again. Your program request is being processed by the department. If you have been invited to the program, you have the option of accepting or declining the invitation on Acorn. Okay, so if the status next to the program code changes to active, it means that you're enrolled in the program and you have successfully completed all the steps to enroll. Again, to decline an invitation to enroll, simply select delete. Here we'll look at an example of a limited program. We have actuarial science major. Again, we see that students are expected to take either MET 137 or MET 157 and attain a minimum grade of either 63% in MET 137 or 60% in MET 157. Okay, and students are encouraged to have backup programs so they're not getting to the limited programs. So this is a good time to look, to see the different programs you're interested in, to identify their types. Again, I'll get to show you where you can easily get all that information to identify if a program is open or limited, and the request periods as well. Next, we'll look at the collaborative life science programs. These are programs that are hosted in collaboration with the Faculty of Medicine. Students can apply to a maximum of 6 collaborative life science programs, both majors or specialists. However, if you apply to more than 6 programs, any additional program will be removed. Again, this is specific to just this group of programs. Okay, students can apply to other open or limited programs that are not part of the collaborative life science group. Something we see here is that most collaborative life science programs only accept during the first request period only. So be sure to check the calendar to ensure that you're applying within the periods. We also have a few that accept applications during the second request period. Again, this will be listed on the Arts and Science calendar and the program toolkit. So the collaborative life science programs are also similar to the limited programs where they have both the first and second request period. Something that's a little bit different for collaborative life sciences is that they offer decisions in 3 rounds. So they are in 3 decision iterations. The first one happens between May 16th to May 29th, and the second one decision will be happening between June 4th to June 16th. And lastly, the third will be happening between June 20th to July 4th. So students are advised to check your invitation. If you've been invited, please accept it. Should you not accept the invitation, then it will they usually given a time frame on which you need to accept that. Should you not do that, then your offer will expire and you'll be expected to reach out to the department. With the second request period, it's similar to the other limited programs where it's just one iteration, and that'll be between August 20th to September 3rd. Okay, so again, if you're meeting the program requirements by the end of the winter and your program has only one request period, please be sure to apply to these programs as early as March 3rd all the way to April 25th. Something to note is that students can be enrolled in only one specialist from the collaborative life science group. If you accept an invitation to more than one specialist from this group, you'll be removed from the first specialist for which you accepted an invitation. The other thing to note is that if you accept an invitation for more than one program from the collaborative life science group, that is both the majors and specialists, make sure that these programs are acceptable combinations. Again, I'll get to show you what the acceptable combinations are. If these programs are not acceptable combinations, you'll be removed from the first program for which you accepted an invitation. Okay, and I'll get to show you all of that just in a few more slides. Let's look at applying to focuses. So these are taken in conjunction with either specialist or a major. They're normally not mandatory, and they're put in place to enhance how a student plans the completion of their programs. Once you've completed a focus, you will see that will be shown on your transcript. Okay, with the focuses, they're tied to specific programs, like the specialist or major. If you're not enrolled in those, then you'll not have access to the focus. How do you enroll in the focuses? You can enroll in them on Acorn that between March 3rd to September 15th. There are others that are programs, department specific, where you have to reach out to the department in order for them to enroll you in those. For instance, we have the cell and molecular biology major specialist focuses. Again, we'll get to see them in a few. And lastly, let's look at applying to certificates. With certificates, students do not receive a separate document or certificate upon graduation. It Annotation will show up on your transcript confirming the completion of the certificate. Different from the focuses with certificates, they're not tied to a specific program. For this, as long as you're interested in the certificate area, then you're welcome to take up the courses or even enroll in the certificate. The options you have when it comes to enrolling is either you can do it through Acorn, or if listed on the academic calendar that you have to reach out to the department, then you'll be expected to reach out to the department. Now, this is more of a visual representation on how to enroll in your programs step by step. So you log into to your Acorn under your academic section, go to the Enroll and Manage. You'll select the programs. While you're there, the code you'll have gotten from the Art and Science calendar, plop it in there. If that's not the case, you can also type in the program name and that will pop up. Be sure to select Faculty of Arts and Science. We see there's an engineering listed there. Be sure you're only selecting Arts and Science programs. If it's an open program, then once you click enroll, you'll see that you're immediately active in the program and you can start taking up courses in that program. Next, we'll look at changing or deleting programs. So this is mostly for students who are either have changed their minds on the programs they were previously enrolled in, or you enrolled in an open program as a placeholder while you wait to get into the limited program. To delete the program, you log into Acorn and use the delete function. However, when it comes to changing, there are a few different options. Some programs expect students to reapply. So let's say you enrolled in a specialist, they'd expect you to reapply to get into the major. And in some instances, some programs allow you to change amongst the members without reapplication. A good example for that is the anthropology minor, anthropology program. So you can either switch between the major, the minor, or the specialist without reapplying or doing anything by just using the change function. If that's the case for your program, you'll have access to these features on Acorn. If that's not the case, you're welcome to check in with the department on how to proceed with that, or even book an appointment with one of the academic registrars to look at that. Next, we'll go over all the tools that are brought up in the meeting, from the Arts and Science calendar to the program toolkit to Acorn, Degree Explorer, the Career Navigator, and we'll get to see how you can use them in program planning. So the Arts and Science calendar is a reference document. This is where you'll get all the information about your degrees, the programs, the courses offered, as well as the rules and regulations. For the program toolkit, it will provide you a comprehensive overview of topics and resources related to program planning and exploration. It also has videos on student testimonials and also how they what informed their decision making when choosing the programs. And we also have Acorn. This is the Student Information Service Hub for everything that you need to manage your student life. This is where you'll add and drop courses, but for this particular session, we're focusing on programs. This is where you'll be enrolling and deleting programs, adding them, and also changing. Degree Explorer is a planning tool that allows you to review your progress towards your programs and also degree requirements. A good thing about Degree Explorer is that it has a planning tool embedded that allows you to plan for hypothetical program combinations if you're not sure on what programs you want to take, and also allows you to plan ahead into the future. That means no surprises when it comes to graduation. And lastly, we have the Career Navigator that allows you to see the different career paths previous alumni have taken and some of the professional programs they've gone into should they choose to pursue graduate school. Okay, so I'll get to share my screen with you and show you how to use all these tools. Okay, so we'll start with the program toolkit. So this is where you'll get all the information about what a program is to how to apply, program exploration date, hold that thought. I'll come back to that in a few. Important dates, the program showcase. This is where you get to see videos of students from all the programs talking about what led them to choosing a particular program and why they like it, what's the specific thing about that program that led them to that. So this is a good place to start if you're not sure about what program you want to take and would like some inspiration from previous students. Something that we spoke about was the different types of programs we have. This will be the place for you to easily identify if a program is open or limited. So with a quick click on that, it immediately tells you if it's an open or limited program and also includes the request periods. Here we see this specifies it has both first and second request periods. So this will be a very vital page for you to always reference and come back to see the different program types and their request periods. For the open, we see it's just open, and for the limited, it has either first or second. Well, so like the biochemistry here has only one request period. So again, it's important for you to note the request periods of the particular program you're interested in. The other thing that I mentioned is the acceptable combination in the collaborative life science programs. They have them listed here. And again, you can get access to all this information on our Quarkus page. So the combinations, they advise students against combining a biochemistry specialist with either immunology major or molecular genetics and microbiology major. The same goes for all these other program combinations. It's okay if you're not able to grasp all of these. Again, you can always come back to this and look at that. Next, let's quickly review the academic calendar. This is where you'll get all the information about the programs and their requirements. So by just going to the program areas, you can click through all the programs in alphabetical order, pick the program you're interested in, and look at the requirements. So let's say we picked biochemistry here. That will take us to the biochemistry. You have the option of choosing either specialist or major. Again, depending on the program type option you choose, that will dictate the requirements you have to meet. So I would say for biochemistry is a limited program, and they'll be looking at these specific courses where students are expected to have 70 and above. We see that, as I mentioned, you should also check the calendar to see the previous average pool. So based on the previous years, you see the estimate was mid 70s and the average was also mid 70s. So always be sure to check that. One other cool thing about the calendar is that when it comes to viewing the programs and certificates, you can do that through this section here. And you can just filter. And let's say if you put focus and apply, then that will give you all the different focuses available. Again, remember these are tied to the program you're enrolled in. You can only take a focus if you're enrolled in that program. However, if you're looking for something more like the certificate, you'll do the same, and that will give you the different certificates we have available. Okay, so we have a Degree Explorer. So this is what that looks like once you've logged in using your user ID and password. It allows you to keep track of both your degree and program requirements, making sure that you're not missing anything before graduation. And this is the fun tool I was talking about, the planning tool that allows you to plan ahead. And also you can plan, you can create up to 5 hypothetical degree scenarios. This is a good opportunity for a student who's not sure on what program they want to take and have different ideas. This is a good time, this is a good tool for you to use to allow you to make that call. And again, you can also view your academic history through Degree Explorer. The other thing that I love is the Career Navigator. I find this to be a very informational tool. This again allows you to see the different pathways previous students have taken through by completing the program. I'll pick a random here. I'll pick chemistry. Okay, with chemistry, you get to see the different skills you'll get at the end of the 4 years, and also it tells you the different areas students have gone into. And for those who chose to go to graduate school, it tells you what programs they pursued after completing the chemistry degree. Another fun section about the Career Navigator I like is the connecting, like see the more alumni section. I find that with this page, it allows you to see all the different roles they're in and how, for some of them, it might not be necessarily tied to the specific program they took. So it's always a good thing to look into this because you might find something that's not necessarily directly tied to it, but they were able to get to that. So it's a good way to, just open up your limits and see what are other areas you could get into. Okay, and I will go back to. Okay, now that we've looked at all the tools, I'm hoping you feel a little bit more confident in navigating and using them to help inform your program planning. Next, we'll talk about the Program Exploration Fair. This is happening between February 25th and the 27th. This is a good time for you to go in there and talk to faculty, staff, alumni, and also current students in the programs that you might be interested in to have your questions addressed and just, your curiosity questioned more. I highly recommend for you to go to plan to attend. They have different admission categories are planned for different days. For the life sciences, the physical and the mathematical sciences, that'll be happening on February 25th. For the humanities and social sciences, that'll be happening February 25th and 26th and 27th, sorry. Again, this information is available on the Arts and Science website on the program toolkit page. And just some important information to know is what programs are you interested in. If you're not sure, that's completely okay. We recommend meeting with a career advisor through the Center of Career Exploration and Education to help you refine your ideas on what you want to do. Again, are you enrolled in the right courses required by the program? Please review the academic calendar. If you're not sure about what courses you need to take, book an appointment to meet with one of the academic advisors at New College, or you can also book an appointment with a program advisor. Okay, and also be sure to have a backup plan should you not get into the programs you're interested in, then at least you have something in place to allow you to still make progress towards meeting degree requirements. Again, in any situation, if you're stuck, please feel free to book an appointment with one of the academic advisors. And lastly, onto the frequently asked questions. Can I change my mind and switch programs? Yes, you can do that. Just note that you can only do that within the program enrollment period. That is, it tends to happen between March and September. Again, only within those dates can you change your programs. Can I use a credit, no credit towards a course required for the programs I am applying to or enrolled in? No, you cannot. Again, credit, no credit is only applicable to courses that you do not need for the program. If a course is required by the program, then that option is not available to you. Why do I go for advising regarding program enrollment? please visit us at the registrar's office or go to the program's office. We do have in-person drop-ins happening today between 2 to 4 p.m. If you still have more questions after this session, we highly encourage you to go in and talk to an academic advisor to get your program planning started. What options do I have if I do not get into the desired programs? Enrolled in an open program as a placeholder, again, as you work towards meeting the requirements. Can I change or delete programs? Yes, you can do that. Again, that can only be done between the program enrollment period, March to September. And lastly, do my transfer credits count towards specific program requirements? That is at the discretion of each academic unit that oversees the program. You will be expected to contact the academic unit and to get more information about meeting the program requirements. We look forward to seeing you at the Art and Science Program Exploration Days on February 25th, 26th, and 27th. And also we have drop-ins today. You're welcome to attend between 2 to 4 p.m. If you're not able to attend, we also have appointments available for students to book for next week, reading week. Please use that time to, think about the programs you're enrolled in or think about the programs you're interested in. And if any question comes up, feel free to book an appointment and talk to us. At this point, I'll welcome any questions anyone has and we'll stop the recording.